It's been sunny all morning and it's just started hailing. And it's the end of April. Not impressed. Not impressed at all, Scottish weather. Welcome to MoggyBoxCraft. I'm Deborah and welcome back to my greenhouse and garden. What are we doing today, you may ask? Well, it's the very end of April, start of May, and it's time to start potting up, potting on, panic planting, because some seeds have died because I was a little bit too enthusiastic and planted up some seedlings far too early and have died. But before we get on to that, let's take a look at what I was doing last week. Well, it's the 21st of April 2021 and it's time to get this grass cut. What are you doing? And around our fire pit where all this grass grows, I just tend to cut it with a pair of scissors because I'm too lazy to move the rocks. Well, the grass has been cut and the boys are very much enjoying that. Unfortunately now I'm going to feed the grass, so I'm going to have to give the grass a good water and then put the feed down. Before I put the lawn seed down, I've taken the dogs out of the garden. Although this is pet friendly, I'm taking no chances. Also, they then want to eat the grass and the soil and the seeds, so it's best they're not in the grass area for a wee while after I put this down. I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle this randomly over the grass and then not let the dogs on it for a couple of days, possibly a week. So that is our lawn cut for the first time this year, and a little bit of feed down, so hopefully that'll come into itself as the month progresses. Now, we've had a few problems in the raised beds. I had planted a whole load of things down here. Unfortunately, we had a last frost. So, as you can see, the courgettes are pretty much dead. And then I discovered a cat had been pooing here. That pumpkin pretty much got destroyed, and I'm pretty sure, well, to be honest, I think the frost has killed both of them, but there was a cat poo down there, so I thought I'd better put some chicken wire on top of everything. I've put down these blocks of wood just to keep everything off the plants, what's left of them. The butternut squash was doing really well, and then I managed to drop a bit of wood on it, so that's definitely dead now. I know it looks a bit like pick up the sticks, but I've put some bamboo down so the cats can't poo on that bit of soil either. And I've also popped some here on top of the tatties and the set onions because I do not need cat poo in my onions and tatties. So far so good, there's been no more cat plops. Let's hope that lasts. As we can see, I've had a few problems with cats. Yes, they've started pooping in my raised beds, which I am not happy about. Let's go take a look at how everything is looking in the garden now. So this is what the raised beds are looking like. Onions are doing fine. The raised beds look such a mess from trying to keep the cats from pooping in it, but gotta do what you've got to do. As we can see, I've killed all the courgettes. The lettuce is doing okay. The butternut squash was doing fine until I dropped some wood on it. Whoops. And the pumpkins are definitely dead and definitely not helped by the cats scratching and trying to poop on them. I think I'm going to wait a little while longer before planting anything in that bed. The garlic seems to be doing just fine. Up here we've got the Damasco cauliflower and the asparagus. I think the asparagus is doing okay. There's some very long spindly ones, but what is this doing? I have no idea. This is the Damasco cauliflower I planted last year. I'm not sure how well that's doing. Something's definitely trying to eat through it in there. Oh, and we're definitely hailing. Can you hear that? Anyway, but the other Damasco cauliflower seems to be doing okay, so we'll just wait and see what happens with them. Where these bamboo canes are is where I'm going to be planting the Brussel sprouts. I'll get onto that maybe in a week or two. And in this last bed we've got carrots down here. Set onions are starting to pop through. And up here we've got the tatties. The tatties are starting to pop through. Oh, and that hail is definitely getting worse. Oh God, just typical, isn't it? Bloody Scottish weather. When the tatties and the onions get a little bit bigger, I will remove this netting. And hopefully, because the plants will be bigger, the cats won't be able to poop in there. Down at the bottom of the raised beds, I've planted up some flowers and some peas and marrow peas. And planted up some things in the flower planter at the bottom there. In here I've got our confetti garden. The cornflower and the clary's doing pretty good. I know it's a little bit early to plant the larkspur, they've taken a lot longer to germinate. But there is a few here. I'm just hoping they survive. And we've got the marigold. So over here we've got the peas. These are seed-saved peas. And these are peas from out the packet. I've just planted them up yesterday. And we've got some little beauty tulips coming up here. They've still not opened, but they're so nearly there. And in here I've got a Himalayan blue poppy, so I'm really hoping that'll flower. Then we've got the speckled cranberry climbing French bean. In this planter I've planted some lobelias. I know they look really small at the moment, but trust me, they are going to go wild. And in here I've popped in the seed-saved marrow peas, and at the other side we've got the regular marrow peas. So we will see how they get on, and it'll be a nice comparison. On to all the flowers down here at the shadiest part of the garden. Starting to see a little bit of life in here. You can definitely tell this is the shadiest part of the garden because the tulips are nowhere near flowering. The ones that have are very leggy looking. We've got some Mrs. Calibrand lobelias in there. Some marigolds. And I've got some irises that had already flowered, but I've planted in there. Hopefully they'll be happier there for next year. Some seed-saved nasturtiums. I have no idea what colour. So we'll find out later in the year. And some blue cascade lobelias. Again, they will get huge and go wild in this bed. So nice for them to have a little bit of space. And I'd like to think the feed I put down for the grass is making a bit of a difference. There's definitely some weeds still in here, but they're green, so does it really matter? The olive tree is not looking happy at the moment. I've given it a bit of a cut back, so hopefully it'll be a little bit happier soon. Then we've got the black currants. Our acer tree is starting to look like it's showing signs of life again. Our bramble was not looking very happy. There's a lot of dead on it, so I've given it a right good cut back, taken off all the dead bits, and this is what we're left with. I've also put some strings in place just to hold it in the formation I want. Onto our apple and pear tree in this little corner. The pear tree is flowering beautifully. I have so much high hopes. So we might actually get some pears this year, as we didn't get anything last year. And the apple tree is starting to come into flower as well. So hopefully more apples. The seed-saved Shiraz Mangetout is looking really happy, so I'm pleased about that. The cold weather hasn't killed it off. My potatoes are planted in buckets are looking pretty good too. I have added some more soil and you can see them starting to peep through again. We've got a happy climbing rose next to that archway. The entwined pear trees are looking good too, as is the blueberry. Hopefully we'll get some good blueberries on that this year. And on the other side of our archway, tucked in this corner, is the raspberries. They're definitely growing this year. Hopefully we'll get some raspberries. I think last year we got about 10. And next to it we've got the red currant. Well, this thing has certainly come back to life. Look at all that potential. Definitely got to make more red currant jam. And next to that we've got the blackberry. This is not looking like a happy plant, but we will wait and see. Hopefully it will come back to life. There is a little bit of new growth down there, so I'm holding out some hope. And on the stairs I've had a good clear out. I've cut back a load of the herbs. The mint plants are all coming back to life. Then in my pots I've popped, we've got lobelia, Mrs. Calibrand, some random nasturtiums, some plants from the confetti garden. I think this one might be lavender. And more lobelias cascade blue. The steps are looking a little bit neater and tidier, especially as I tidied up all the fallen leaves. Well, most of them, I haven't done those yet. And up on the deck and we've got the flowers. So some of these flowers I will plant in our planter at the bottom of the garden when they finish flowering. And then we've got the strawberries. So I've repotted all these. We've got honey. They're going to be the first to fruit. Then we've got El Santa. They're June and July. And late summer, early autumn, we've got Symphony. So these are the strawberry plants I'm hoping to get more plants from later in the year. So that's how the raised beds in the garden is looking. Everything seems to be coming along nicely. There has been a little bit of death by frost, but that will be my fault. Please learn from my mistakes. In my area, I think I'm really going to have to wait until mid-May before I really start planting things out. I will probably plant out the Brussel sprouts next week, but it's very weather dependent. And because a few things have died off because of the frost, I have panic planted some more seeds, some more courgettes, and some more pumpkins. These are the seeds I've panic planted. Zombie pumpkins growing well. Sugar pumpkins starting to appear. Virginia 3 courgettes are looking great. And Defender courgettes are starting to come along. So I've had these in the house, on top of a heat mat, with a grow light. I think I might leave these in the greenhouse now to continue growing. And along with the butternut squash, these pumpkins down here that are actually looking really good. I won't be planting any of these lot out until we get much better weather. I also planted some melons. These are the melons I'm growing. So I've been growing these in the house as well. They are a little bit leggy, but they seem to be quite healthy and doing okay. I think I'm going to plant a few of these in the greenhouse today, see how they get on. I also ordered some watermelon plants. Now, I don't really know what to say about these. There was 3 of them. One didn't survive the journey at all. I don't think this one's going to survive at all. That one's pretty much died off. I do have hope on the other hand for this one. I'm going to keep these inside with the heat mat and the grow light and hope for the best. So this is what's left of my seedlings. The rest I've planted out into the garden, in pots, and some flowers that I've planted in hanging baskets. But we'll get on to them in a wee minute. The last loofah seems to have grown. This is a little bit leggy, but again it's doing fine. I think I'm going to plant that in the greenhouse today. These strawberries seem to be doing okay as well. The flowers haven't done too great. We've got some nasturtiums, petunia and some gaillardias. That isn't sticking on unfortunately, never mind. The gaillardia seem to be doing okay. There is a few seedlings popping up. And also the F1 honeycomb tomatoes. Nothing seems to have sprouted. I wonder if I've drowned them a little bit and watered them a little bit too much. And then maybe the seeds have rotted. So I'm going to panic plant some more tomato seeds. And I don't think I've got any of the rest of them left. So these are the ones that haven't grown. So I think I'm going to panic plant some more of these in the house with grow lights and a heat mat and see if I can get these to grow. And these are the Luffas seeds I'm using. I've got a few extra left, so if these don't work out I will try them again next year. Both the Brussel sprouts seem to be doing really well, so I'm going to wait another week or so and we'll get these planted in the garden. And on to the strawberries. Well, none of these are growing again. Have I drowned them? What is going on with these? These are the strawberries I'm trying to grow. I had a lovely comment from someone saying they'd got exactly the same ones and they'd had the same problem. So is it just a bad batch? I don't know. I'm going to panic plant some more of these too and give them one last try because these have done nothing so far. Let's take a look at how the greenhouse is doing. In these first 2 planters I'm going to try some melon and maybe some more loofahs. We've got 2 cucumber plants that are surviving. The Seed Safe Moneymaker tomatoes. And the normal Moneymaker tomatoes are doing okay. There's definitely something eating my plants. So I have planted a few spare tomato plants in here in the hopes that they won't all get eaten. The loofah plants I think are doing okay. Not entirely sure. Have I overwatered them slightly? Maybe. But they're still alive, so we'll keep hoping. And on to the seed saved sun gold tomatoes and the regular sun gold tomatoes. Something is definitely enjoying eating the tomato seedlings. So these seed saved tomatoes are F1 Sun Golds. When you're seed saving from F1 varieties, it's not usually recommended because you don't know what type of plant you're going to get. It won't be true to the fruit that you got the seed from, not always, so it's a bit hit or miss. So I guess we'll see later in the year what type of tomato grows from these seed saved tomatoes. Then we've got the sweetcorn. They're doing okay, I think. This one at the back isn't looking too great, so I have planted an extra little one down there. And an extra one there. So if we do have any death by frost or cold or overwatering, hopefully we will have enough extras. On to the beetroot that I planted last year. I was pulling a few of these out earlier. They are not growing to anything. It was a nice wee experiment, but it hasn't really worked. And as you can see, they're all starting to go to flower, so great for eating the leaves, maybe through the winter, but apart from that, no, I would not recommend growing beetroot in the greenhouse over winter. Unless you want to eat the leaves, then it would be perfect. So I'm going to get rid of the beetroot and use these pots for something else. Then we've got autumn toucan carrots I planted last autumn. I mean, there is little carrots growing, but I really don't think they're going to come to anything. It's not the best soil in here. I think it'll be too warm in the greenhouse, and I think they're all going to bolt. They're not looking the best colour really, are they? Again, a nice little experiment, but wouldn't bother doing it again. Then we've got the little gem lettuce. So we've had a bit of an infestation, so I have treated this, but again, I'm not entirely sure this is just the best way to grow lettuce. I think it's going to bolt because it's too hot in the greenhouse, but because I've treated the plant, I can't eat it for 2 weeks. So yeah, there we go, that's the lettuce. Down here we've got the lemon balm. I've only managed to get one little seedling from that so far. So in this planter I've got all the flower seedlings from the Plant Theatre's Fragrant Flower Kit. That's how everything should look. And they all seem to be growing really nicely, so I'm really excited to see how these get on. So I'm going to leave them in the greenhouse for a little while so I avoid any frost. And then I'll put them outside. Oh, and the avocado plant is not looking good. On to the hanging baskets. So I'm going to be keeping all these in the greenhouse for a little while. Help them grow on and hopefully not kill them off. We've got blue cascade lobelias, Mrs. Calibrand lobelias, some winter pansies for later in the year, more winter pansies for later in the year. So this is a bit of a mishmash, but mostly nasturtiums. All the soil from the seed trays was thrown in here, so if we get some random flowers, that'll be why. I'm also planning to pot up some of the chilies, jalapenos, aubergine and peppers from here. And that is how everything is looking. So I'm going to panic plant some more tomatoes and strawberries and plant up some of my melon and Luffas seeds into my planters in the greenhouse. So let me know in the comments below, are you having problems germinating any seeds this year, or is it just me? I really hope it's not just me. I mean, obviously I hope you guys are having success, but it's nice sometimes to know you're not alone when it comes to gardening problems. Also let me know if you're growing any unusual varieties and things that are a little bit more temperamental when growing in cold climates. If you've enjoyed this video, leave a like, leave a comment, share and subscribe. Of course, subscribing is optional, but it is very much appreciated. And thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!